In a lavish living room, I begins recounting his story, addressing the camera directly. I speak of my marriage to Lila, emphasizing the material comforts I provided. In the luxurious kitchen, Lila stares out the window, lost in thought. I enters the kitchen, his voice laced with concern. You need to be careful about which friends you keep. Lila turns, her voice tinged with frustration. It's just frustrating, you know? I steps closer, his tone firm and reassuring. I know what's best for you, Lila. Trust me. In a dusty flashback, Lila walks alone down a suburban street, her steps measured. From a distance, I watches her, his expression a mask of suspicion. In a sunlit office, I sits regally behind his grand desk, an emblem of power and control. Lila stands before him, a stark contrast to the room's perfection, her nervousness palpable. I leans forward, the weight of his gaze intensifying as he questions. Lila, I couldn't help but notice the dust on your shoes. Where have you been? Lila hesitates, her reply laced with evasion. Oh, just around. His skepticism sharpens, demanding. Just around? That's not very specific, is it? I need to know exactly where you've been. With unwavering resolve, I declares, I don't believe you. I'm hiring a private investigator to look into this. Sunlight streams into the private investigator's office, casting dancing dust motes in the air as I sits tensely. The investigator pushes a manila envelope across the desk, sealing is fate. Photos spill out, confirming Lila's betrayal with Mark. Rage simmers beneath the surface as I clenches their fists. A vein throbs in his forehead, betraying their inner turmoil. In the dimly lit office, shadows play across the cluttered desk as I sits opposite the private investigator, tension hanging heavy in the air. The private investigator leans forward, a predatory gleam in his eyes as he speaks. I think I have a way to handle this, a way that ensures it never comes back to haunt you. I nod slowly, a grim acceptance settling on his face. Do what you have to do, I says, sealing a dark pact in the hushed room. They begin to sketch out a plan, their voices hushed, the details murky and morally questionable. Friday dawns as I secures the side gate of her house, unknowingly setting off a chain of events. The arrival of Mark's car signals the beginning of Lila's unwitting journey into danger. Lila is forced to use the main gate. Unseen, security cameras capture the clandestine meeting, forever sealing their connection in digital memory. In the dim glow of the television, I sits alone, his features sharpened by a calculating intent. He picks up his phone, a plan forming behind his eyes. With feigned concern, I begins the call. Hey, Lila, it's me. I'm a little worried. I saw something strange on the security footage tonight. Lila's voice responds, tinged with unease. What do you mean? What did you see? I continues, his voice laced with false worry. I'm not sure, it looked like someone else was here. I just wanted to make sure you were okay. Lila's hesitant voice fills the room, hesitantly. Oh, that was just a friend. We were, talking. I presses, his suspicion audible. A friend? At this hour? Lila, are you sure that's all it was? A long pause. Then Lila's voice, heavy with resolve. A long pause. Look, I need to tell you something. There's someone else. I'm leaving you. I stands alone in the park, his posture reflecting the intensity of his emotions. He had pleaded with Lila to meet him one last time, the weight of their history palpable in the air. Lila reluctantly agrees to meet, the scene filled with tension and unspoken threats. The air hangs heavy with unspoken words and simmering tension between them. Unseen, the investigator lurks in the shadows, pulling strings from afar. Mark's hand trembles violently as he raises the gun, his body racked with inner turmoil. A deafening gunshot shatters the silence, and Lila crumples to the ground. The investigator watches, unmoved, as the tragic scene unfolds before him. In a final act of despair, Mark turns the gun on himself. Another shot echoes, marking the end of two lives in a brutal, calculated finale. In the stark confines of the police station, the weight of Mark's fixation on Lila fills the air. Mark sits across from the police officer, his bloodshot eyes betraying a night of turmoil. Despite his obvious distress, Mark struggles to maintain composure, answering questions with painstaking precision. Each word is measured, each detail carefully recalled, as Mark attempts to unravel the mystery surrounding Lila. Weeks after the murder, I sits alone, the silence of his living room amplifying his solitude. A camera looms, ready to capture his chilling confession. With unnerving calm, he begins to speak, his voice a stark contrast to the horror of his words. No one suspects me, he states, his words dripping with chilling pride. I got away with the perfect crime. I sits alone in his living room, shrouded in shadows, as the weight of loneliness permeates the air. The silence is broken only by his somber reflection. Another night, another empty chair. I need a wife, someone, faithful. His eyes meet the camera's gaze, questioning, vulnerable. Perhaps someone watching this feels the same way.